I wish I didn't have to make this, but considering I met Billy Kametz back in 2019, August, at Anime Austin, and I feel like I should at least pay respects to those who I have met and filmed at conventions I've been to. Like when they pass, I do a video talking about my stories and experience with them as a way to honor and share my memories. Because everybody who has met people, celebrities who have passed, they have their stories to tell others, and they are the only ones who are able to tell those stories. Otherwise, those memories pretty much just stick with them. So the stories I have with Billy, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys. When I met Billy, I had no idea he was a competitive Smash Brothers player. I myself am a little decent player at it. I have my good moments and stuff, and but I saw how when he was announced as a guest at Anime Austin 2019, that he was going to, of course, have a Q&A, and I asked him for permission along with Faye Mata, who was his fellow guest there, and they granted me permission, and I do have the video up here on the channel for those who haven't seen it, or for those who have and wish to see it again. It's up for available. I'll link it there. And it was a very interesting panel. Like, it was a small room, like where only I think like maybe 20 people could be crammed in. But thanks to having permission granted to film it, as of the recording of this video, there's about 17,000 views on it. So 17,000, people, maybe some repeats, have seen Billy and Faye, talk about it. That took place in that small room, and I'm glad to have provided that service, for, people online to see whenever, wherever they are. And he did say that I'm Ferdinand von Ayer. That was like shortly after Three Houses was released. I remember I was still in the middle of my first playthrough there, and I did choose Black Eagles, which Faye and Billy, voice characters from that house in the game. And of course they were all happy that I chose Black Houses, after I took a photo with them. And the last thing I said to them, was like, "Oh, Black Eagles," and they all both smiled and said, "Yeah, Black Eagles." And I also had an opportunity to play Smash Brothers against them. And I also recorded that panel, I guess you could say, or that event on this at Anime Austin 2019. I wasn't unfortunately able to record like my match with them because I was alone and I had no one to film it for me. I could have just acted as a stranger, but I didn't want to do a spur of the moment like, "Oh, here, hold my camera and film me and stuff." And also, if I went with a friend or cousin or a con buddy, it probably would have been more likely. But regardless, I'll tell you what happened. I saw that Faye, I can't remember if Billy did that time. They had signed up for the Smash Brothers tournament, as just about every convention has one. But either way, it's there for you guys, and I'll also provide it here for you. I do remember the controllers, like they had the rubber on the GameCube sticks, like almost like coming off, and it hurt my thumb a little bit, but I just put up with it because that's all they had to use. Since I saw how good Billy and Faye were at Smash Brothers, they didn't win it, but I heard they got really far in it. And during, I guess, the rematch play of the whole panel, where it's just nothing but challenging all the con-goers, I remember hearing them announcing that, "Oh, these are the tournament winners. Oh, come on in, bring in for a rematch." And Billy and Faye actually beat them. on the rematch. I decided to be a little more defensive with my main, Zelda. And he chose, Billy chose Little Mac and Faye chose Valentina. And that's one of, of course, their strongest characters and stuff. And so I spent most of the match on the defensive. It was a 2v2, teams. I managed to do a lot of air dodging, especially to dodge Faye and stuff, because she fights with Valentina a lot in the air. And Billy on the ground and from above you, if you're over him, as Little Mac.
Oh, 5 hits. Oh, dang! Oh my god. GG, guys. Game over.
I think it was either a 2 or 3 stock match. And I did knock Billy out once, and Faye I couldn't knock out, and I think I dodged Faye most of the match, like almost to the point where afterwards Faye told me, like, God, you're pretty good. I was like, well, I've been really practicing on the defenses the whole Smash Brothers franchise existence during that whole time. So yeah. I really, I focus more on defense and then attack when I can, especially when I know I'm playing against a better player. And Billy was the one who actually got like the final knockout on me. Like Billy just used Little Mac and just like little charging side punch and just and then that KO and just knocked me out. And I remember during the autograph sessions afterwards, I did tell him that, like, I think I knocked you out once, and Bill was like, what? Like, are you sure? Like, and I was like, yeah, I know. I mean, I would have remembered that, because I was like the only KO I got. That was pretty eventful, since that first meeting, I followed him online, his social medias, and see what he's up to now and stuff, and I saw how he, started Twitch streaming. I started paying attention to people on Twitch more often, especially after the COVID came and created a lot of shutdowns, and I was here, just staying at home most of the time. I guess Twitch was a good outlet for, human interaction, online with people that, I've met at conventions or, friends and stuff like that. I watched the streams a little bit, interacted with him. Like my username, of course, is, as the channel is called, Gaming Objective, but I tried to on Twitch to like use that name, but I think it said it was already taken. So I put myself, no spaces, of course, all one word, like Gaming Objective YT standing for YouTube, and a lot of voice actors incorrectly read that as Gaming Objectively. It's just how it looks, and I remember Billy. During his streams, along with Erica Lindbeck and maybe like 1 or 2 other voice actresses. I think it was Sarah Beaton that also called me that.
Gaming Objectivity says hello to you.
Gaming Objectivity. And so they called me Gaming Objectively so often that the last time I think they were both on Twitch was during Kyle McCarley's tabletop board game streams, called Board and Barrel. I said, hey guys, I miss you, and Erica Lindbeck was like,
hey, Gaming Objectivity, I miss you
Gaming
too.
Objectivity. Oh, I thought it was Gaming Objective YT.
Dustin, can you pass me a cookie because I murdered a woman?
I don't know if you deserve one.
Maybe not.
It's Gaming Objective, but they now accept Gaming Objectivity because of
That's
YouTube.
our little nickname.
That's our nickname.
Yeah.
Well,
we know how it's actually.
Yeah.
I accepted and stuff, and I believe that was my last, live interaction with Billy. I did donate to him on his GoFundMe when he announced that he had been diagnosed and he was going to be taking, time off to move back home back in April. And in my donation, I said, hey, Gaming Objective YT here. And I shared him the story in my comment of meeting him in Anime Austin. And I brought up the Smash Bros story and how you knocked me out and stuff. And I think about a day or two, I think it was maybe a day after I had donated and posted that message, Billy himself, did post the only update he did in a GoFundMe page for him, I'm reading all your messages. This, brings, tear to my eyes, good ones. And so I know he highly possibly saw my message, since it was one of the more recent ones that were up on his GoFundMe when he posted that update response. And I did play Persona 5 Royal last year, and of course he played the new major character in there. And I was just thinking, I think just as recently as like earlier this week or last week, of possibly playing another playthrough of that. And well, now it's going to be emotionally harder to do it. I don't know if you guys are, for anyone who's in the same, I guess, situation like that, who is also thinking of playing Persona 5 Royal again. And I know there are, because some of my convention friends online have posted they wanted to start up again. Yeah, but I think for me personally, I'm probably going to wait a little bit longer before I start it up. I mean, I don't know if that's going to make it easier for me, but only time will tell. But that was the only time I met Billy, was during that weekend at Anime Austin 2019. I wish I had more, but COVID did cancel a lot of opportunities to go more conventions again, and I used to do one convention a month. Now it's like barely a convention a month, but it's slowly starting to come back. I do have some conventions and coming up here. And it seems to be almost every month there is a con. And of course I was thinking, how is he doing? And he was still doing conventions, I think, up until, I don't know, like earlier this year, I believe. I haven't looked that up yet, but I know last year he was doing cons. And I had hoped to meet him again, but I had this plan that I had hoped to do during one of Billy's streams, because during his Twitch streams, he regularly would challenge viewers, like, here's the game code, challenge us and stuff on Smash Brothers. And there was one thing where he said, we're bringing DJs back, and I was like, what does that mean? So I just watched this stream, and I think chosen at random through some means, I forgot how, someone in chat would, I guess, link him a YouTube playlist of video game music, soundtracks to play in the background while he and fan challenges him to Smash Brothers during live in the Twitch streams. And I thought, oh, that's cool. He was introduced to Street Fighter Third Strike soundtrack, and he was like, yeah, he was now starting to use that in his streaming, getting intros or getting readies. And I was like, yes, because my friends and I used to play Third Strike like a lot, like back when it was the latest Street Fighter game. And I was like, I have a game that I want to probably DJ to him, and it was the soundtrack to Valhalla, or VA, Hall A, VA11 Hell A. And for those who know what I'm talking about, the soundtrack is amazing, and I believe it's safe for Twitch. If the game is streamed on Twitch, you're obviously going to hear the music. But I'm not 100% sure on the copyright of it. But anyway, having said all that, it was my dream to one day, be the DJ on Billy's streams. I send him, the playlist for the Valhalla, game soundtrack. And both him and the audience would, of course, be amazed by how awesome all the beats of the songs and the soundtracks, are going. Like, so much so that it would be hard to concentrate on a match during Smash Brothers because you're too busy, like, doing dancing or just nodding your head or whatever. And I was like, hey, try not to dance challenge. And I remember during the song Every Day is Night, I believe that's what it's called, I would like donate bits to him and type in the the read out loud chat, Billy, I hope your weakness is in saxophone. And Billy would, I would imagine Billy would say like, oh man, like saxophone would bring me to my knees. And then the saxophone plays like about a minute into the song, and then he was like, oh my God, I can't concentrate. And then whatever happens, he gets knocked out, or the player also gets, gets knocked out because they're also, falling for the music. And I was just so looking forward to possibly making that happen. But unfortunately, it looks like that's just gonna be a dream, and it's a pleasant one. But now that I've shared it to you guys, it's now doesn't exist only in my head anymore. And not as well as the stories that I just shared, with you guys, with meeting Billy and what took place and stuff. But I'm gonna miss you, Billy. I give you sympathies to your family, your friends, Erica Lindbeck, his girlfriend, who I predict is probably still going to continue to not be that active on social media. There's a part of me that wants to kind of predict what's going to happen, with any projects that he was previously working on. I know he said he was before he announced his diagnosis, he was like he was like working on, he was casted in a project. He was in the sessions, but then he had to go away, and he announced in his I guess health update video, I think that's what it's called, video, that he is gonna not berate or or wish luck. He said, matter of fact, I think he said he was gonna wish luck to whoever took over the role for him. And I think that eventually did come out, and it was all good, But I wish everybody, like his fans, his family, his loved ones, colleagues. I sensed nothing but positive energy from him during those 2 days I managed to meet him, and I was fortunate enough to. But I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm not sure how to end this, so I'll just say, rest in peace, Billy. It was an honor to have met you, and you gave me permission to film you, to share with the world, how you were as a guest during the 2 days in Austin where we met. So, rest in peace.